Red Chili Peppers. I am back and we are going to go ahead and continue with our novel study of Freak the Mighty. We are already on chapter 6, so I'm hoping to finish this book before the end of the school year. So I'm going to be posting a lot more videos, doing our new PBL. Things got a little crazy, but we are back. So when it comes to chapter 5, I kind of want to do a little bit of a recap because it's been a while. Fair Gwen, or Freak's mom, actually invites Max over to dinner. When she realized the Freak was gone and he was with Max, like, she kind of freaked out and she felt really bad. So she invited him over for dinner, and during that time she started kind of talking about her relationship with Max's parents. So remember, he actually lives with his grandparents, who he calls Grim and Graham. And he felt that the dinner went good, and he even told Grim and Graham, they're like, how was dinner? Because at first he wasn't sure if he wanted to go, and he kind of said it went pretty well. So that's where we kind of left off on chapter 5. The driving question I want you to think about, that I'm going to post after this video for you to do in Google Classroom for ELA, is considering Freak's size and his appearance, what we know about him so far. Is he scared of bullies? That's what I want you to think about while I read chapter 6. The chapter 6, the title is Close Encounter of the Turd Kind. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. 4th of July, right? Everybody goes nuts. The dads are getting drunk and having their cookouts, and the moms are trying to keep all the brats from blowing their precious little pinkies off with cherry bombs, and the kids are running wild through the backyards. It's like no rules apply, and that makes everything really edgy, if you know what I mean. Like, let's have a blast, and who cares what happens? Don't get the wrong idea. I love the 4th. It's just that people tend to get all choked up about firecracker holidays, and they don't see what's really going on, which I like to say is a dad swilling beer and acting numb. That's the basic formula. Not that Grim ever swills anything stronger than root beer. No way! The poison never crosses his lips. He likes to say, even though I've seen a picture of him in the army, and that sure looks like a bottle of beer in his hand, that he's got the same whacked by a hammer grin that dudes always get when they're drinking. Anyhow, this is the first year I get to go to the fireworks without Grim and Graham, which I've never understood because it's right down the mill pond where they've been allowed to go for years. Where I've been allowed to go for years. So why should it make a difference just because about 1 million people show up to watch the rockets red glare over that smelly pond? The deal this year is that I go with Freak, which Graham thinks is a good idea because she's afraid he'll get crushed or something. She actually thinks people are going to step on him, which goes to show how brainless she can be sometimes and scared of everything. I mean, nobody steps on a little kid down there. So why should they step on Freak? Turns out the thing to worry about is not kid stompers, but beer swillers, like I mentioned before, because Freak and I are still a couple blocks from the pond, just kind of easing our way along when these punks start mouthing off. Hey you, Mutt and Jeff, Frankenstein and Igor, don't look around, I'm talking to you, boneheads. What is this, a freak show? I know that voice, Tony D. They call him Blade. He's at least 17, and he's already been to juvie court 3 to 4 times. I heard he cut a guy with a razor. He almost died, and everybody says the best way to handle Tony D and his gang is just to avoid them. Cross the street, whatever it takes. Yeah, you, he goes, and he's doing his hippity walk, strutting along. He's got these fancy cowboy boots with metal toes. Yeah, Andre the Giant and the Dwarf. Hold on a second. I want a word with you. Only the way he talks, he goes, Awana, would ya? Except it's bad enough having to listen to the creep. I don't want to have to spell the dumb way he talks. Anyhow, big mistake. We stop and wait for Tony D. Elias, the bad knees Blade. Got any dudes? He asks, pretending like he's friendly. He's a couple feet away, but you can smell the beer on his breath. Also, it smells like he ate something dead. For instance, roadkill, but maybe that's my imagination. Pay attention, Tony D says. I asked, did you got any? Freak, his chest all puffed out with his chin, looks hard, and he's looking right up to Tony D and says, "Got any what?" Tony D has his hands on his hips, and his punkster pals are trying to get closer. Working through the crowd, he leans over Freak and says, "Boomers, you little freak. M80s, maybe a rack of cherry bombs. Is that what's making a lump in your pocket, huh?" Freak starts to hump himself away, trying to walk faster than he really can, which makes his leg brace bump against the ground. "Come on along, Maxwell," he says over his shoulder. "Ignore the cretin." Blade goes, "Hey, what?" And he moves right in front of Freak. "Want to say that again, little freak man?" Freak says, "Cretin. Cretin. Defined as one who suffers from mental deficiency." Hearing how little Freak is dissing the fearsome Tony D, Elias Blade, I can't help it. I laugh out loud. Tony D is looking up at me. He's showing his white teeth. I swear they've been sharpened to look like vampire teeth. And I go, "Uh-oh." And start to get real cold inside. Real icy, because I can see that Blade is trying to make up his mind. Is he going to fight me, or is he just going to kill me quick? Just then, I hear the whoop of a siren, and like a miracle, this cop car comes out of nowhere heading for the mill pond, and Blade takes one look, and he and all his punksters are out of there, burning rubber in their Reeboks. Freak goes, "Woo! This was a close encounter to the turd kind," and it takes me a second to get the joke, but then I'm laughing, amazed that he can be so cool about it, like it was no big deal that Tony D was after us. "You can take him, right?" he says a couple minutes later. I go, "Are you kidding? You can't just fight Blade. You have to fight his whole gang too." "You mean you couldn't take him and I was giving you them lip?" That's about the size of it. Freak goes, "Oh my God." And he's shrieking and laughing and whooping it up so loud that everybody is looking at us like we're total goons, which isn't far from the truth. Freak hasn't got a crutch tonight, just a leg brace, and he's laughing so hard he falls down. Not that he has far to go. Anyhow, I pick him up and amazed how light he is. It's like nothing for me to lift him, and maybe that's where I get the idea, because later when we're down at the pond and the first of the rockets is streaking up, Freak is making a fuss because he can't see. There are so many people crowded around. All he can see are feet and knees. And the people are lifting the little kids up to see the fireworks explode, like the hot pink flowers in the sky. So I just sort of reach down without thinking and pick Freak up and set him on my shoulders. He's kind of trembly up there until he grabs a hold of my hair to steady himself. And then the first really big rocket whams off and a humongous thud. I could feel my stomach, and Freak is shouting, "All right!" And I know it's okay. He's not flipped out because I picked him up and put him on my shoulders like he was a little kid, instead of possibly the smartest human being in the whole wide world. "Magnesium!" he shouts as the white sprinkles glare down the pond. "Potassium chlorate," as the shells go womp, 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 and everybody goes, "Oh!" "Potassium nitrate, sulfur, aluminum." And after a burst of hot red fire in the sky, Freak tugs my hair and screams, "Copper! That's copper powder, combusting with oxygen. And when the flyer blossoms are flashing blue," he goes, "good old strontium nitrate." And I'm thinking, whoa, if there's anything this little dude doesn't know, at the end, like always, they have a thing that they call the grand finale, when they just go nuts and light off everything at once, and it sounds like World War III, whizzing and banging and popping, and there's so much hot stuff falling from the sky, and you could hear it sizzling in the pond. Freak keeps on shouting out the names of chemicals and elements until the last spark dies in the scummy pond, and the crowd cheers, and everybody tries to leave at once, like a bunch of morons. Oh, that is chapter 6, and if you look at the cover, that may be where they got it from this scene. He just kind of, so this is going to be Max, and then Max just kind of lifts up little Freak. So that is going to be chapter 6, and I just, considering Freak's size and considering Max's size, they were basically approached by bullies in this chapter, And they both responded a little bit differently, but considering that Freak is different, especially by his appearance, even though he is extremely smart, and we know that. I mean, fireworks are going off, and he is saying every chemical that fireworks are made of. Is he scared of bullies? Does he let his appearance get to him? I'm gonna leave you with that, and then next time we'll be on chapter 7. Thanks for listening, guys.